Hey folks, so today we will talk about the hypergraphs, the personal knowledge hypergraphs. And if you follow me on Medium, I described how we could model different kind of graphs in a relational databases and why relational databases still matter for the personal knowledge graphs, because we usually have a devices, and on device you don't have the possibility to run some crazy graph database because they all designed to be somehow the server side. So, but what's the hypergraph actually is? Let's discover. So first of all, when we have the regular graph, it's super simple. You have the nodes, you have the edges that usually it's a part of the nodes connection. So you said from this node to that node, we have some kind of connection and we good enough. And the majority of the personal knowledge graphs are directed graphs. So this is super cool. I show you how to do it in Obsidian. I show you how to actually model this as a triple store and so on. But usually the problem is that when we even talking about the personal knowledge, we see that we have the node that represents some idea, and this idea already have a lot of entities and a lot of interconnected information, that it's not enough just to represent as a node. So somehow we have more complex structure that have the graph inside the node. And we could model this relation as graphs of graphs, that you have a graph that could have a node, or the node that could contain another graph. And it's super easy to model this with the RDF and actually the SparkQL queries and all other things. But why we need the hypergraphs? Usually we need the hypergraphs for the artificial intelligence to represent the complex knowledge, because what's the hypergraph are doing, that you have the edge that could refer to multiple nodes, and directed hypergraph you have the edge that have a reference from set of multiple nodes to another set of multiple nodes in some kind of the relation. And why it have the value in artificial intelligence and the personal knowledge management in nowadays? Because you could have the multimodal knowledge graph. You could have a lot of information that represented in a completely different formats, that represented as a node, and they point somehow to the same entity. So you could have the images, you could have the voice, you could have the text that somehow together form something monolithic, but it came from the different sources. So you could model the multimodal information as hypergraphs. And you could model the complex ideas as a hypergraph, because you could keep the complex graph inside of the hypergraph, and it's super powerful. And in my article I always describe some slightly mathematical deviation of this, because usually the hypergraph is the set of edges that point to the set of nodes, but sometimes we want to point to the set of nodes as a node. Yeah, then you have something special that you want to reduce the edges as the nodes and so on. But I haven't seen so much of the mathematical models and the databases that support it. But the more I think about the knowledge representation, the more I see the need of the hypergraphs, not the regular graphs. And another topic to discuss and to think about, that usually in mathematics you have the homomorphic graphs, that every node is the same similar one and represent the same information, and it's work a lot in different cases, like we have the social graph of the people, or maybe we have the graph of the train stations and all those things, where every node actually is the same thing. But in knowledge management we usually have the heterogeneous graphs, where we have the different types of nodes that represent the different type of knowledge. So one node could be the person, another node could be the location, another node could be some kind of food, and all those things. And this one is really interesting to implement and model, because this one really blow up the idea of the relational models, and this requires something completely different in a point of design. And if you're interested to hear more about the heterogeneous hypergraphs and how we could handle the heterogeneous graphs in general, stay tuned. Follow me on YouTube, follow me on Medium, support my articles, write the comments, share your feedback, and let's stay connected and do something together. Cheers!